First story is titled, Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my parents they only have one daughter and she is 6 feet in the ground? Original story. This all started when I was 12 years old and my younger sister was 10. Let's call her Abby. Well, Abby started to get sick and no one in the family knew what was going on. I started to be dropped off at my grandparents as they went to different doctors. I'm not going to go into her illness, but when the doctor figured it out, it was bad. So a lot of time was devoted to my sister. When I was 14, it got worse, and I started to be left at my grandparents for longer periods of time. It started with just staying the weekend, and then maybe the whole week. I would bring it up, and they told me that they have to focus on Abby. Soon, I was staying there for months, and by the time I was 16, I was basically living there full time. I would maybe see them every other month. If I texted them the whole thing, the same response was always sent. We need to focus on Abby right now. I'm 19 now, and Abby has passed away from her illness. Her funeral was 2 weeks ago, and I attended through FaceTime. I got a call today from my parents, and they wanted to meet up and be a family again. I told them that they abandoned one child for another. I'm not their child anymore, that they only have one daughter and she is 6 feet under the ground now. I soon hung up. I've been getting texts calling me an a-hole and that I should understand that they needed to focus on Abby and to suck it up basically. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. Was it harsh? Yes. Was it deserved? Also, yes. While I can sympathize with dealing with a terminally ill child, they still had another child that needed their love and attention too. A child that was losing her little sister, probably scared and lonely, and then freaking abandoned for 7 years. Yes, Abby needed them, but you did too, and they failed you miserably. And they failed Abby too, who might have enjoyed a relationship with her sister in the few years she did have to live. This is what I keep coming back to. It's unconscionably cruel to keep two siblings from spending time with each other while one is dying. I cannot imagine dying and not being able to have my sister around. This honestly brings tears to me. Not a a-hole. As a parent who had a terminally ill child, I made sure that my other kids still knew that I loved them, and even organized people to sit with my child in the hospital while I spent quality time with my other kids. It's hard being a parent, knowing that your child is going to die, but you don't ever push away your other kids. I'm so sorry that you were abandoned by your parents, and I'm sending you huge hugs and love right now. You have every right to be angry at them, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise, as none of them were in your shoes. Take time to grieve for your sister and your lost relationship. And most importantly, please be kind to yourself. You do matter. Not the a-hole. While having a seriously ill child is challenging and will often take priority, it doesn't give your parents license to simply send their other child away and stop parenting them. They abandoned you, and now that your sister has passed away, they want to rug sweep their behavior and play happy family. It's completely understandable that you do not want to have a relationship with them. Therapy may be beneficial for you to process losing your entire immediate family. They need to respect your boundaries. Sorry for your loss, and good luck. They're treating her like a book they left on the nightstand. Now, 7 years later, they want to pick it up and go, "All right, where did I live off?" You can't do that with people. And now for the update. So, it's been around a month since I posted the original post. Thanks to everyone that gave their input. So after the post, I wrote a very long letter explaining my feelings about how my parents treated me and how they abandoned me for 7 years. I talked about all the major events that they missed and all the years that I could have been with my sister but couldn't due to their decision. That I haven't been part of the family ever since Abby got sick all those years ago. I talked about how my grandparents are more parents to me than they have been in these past years. That no matter the reason, they discarded me and acted as if their other kid didn't need their parents. That you may have lost Abby recently, but I lost my whole family a long time ago. And that I'm not going to give an empty apology for what I said on the phone. I sent this letter, and it was radio silent for a bit. And in the meantime, I went to my first on-campus college semester and started to use the free therapy. My parents contacted me and asked if I would like to get dinner and to hear them out. I agreed. It was a very long conversation that boiled down to I'm willing to try to get to know my parents again under 2 conditions, and if they don't agree with them, I'm going to walk away since they are basically strangers at this point. 1, that we start to go to family therapy. 2, that they don't try to parent me. That position is for my grandparents only, and I'm willing to try a relationship with them, but it won't be a parent-child relationship. They don't seem happy with these conditions, but accepted. We went to our first family session a few days ago, and our relationship is still rocky, but I think it is getting better. I may be able to forgive them someday, but that day is far in the future. Now for some top comments. I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you are doing what you believe is best for you. Despite everything, you sense to have grown into a great person. Good luck, love. Indeed, Opie has grown into a good and mature adult because of her own innate personality and her grandparents' care. A lot of people would have fallen under the weight of their parents' abandonment, the mortality of their sibling, and other issues that crops up for most teenagers, or have turned into a spiteful person. However, Opie is making peace with everything and settling strong and reasonable boundaries with her egg and sperm daughters. So glad to hear it, Opie. Book recommendation: Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. It's not a replacement for therapy, but can help in a recovery of the loss of the parental relationship. Yes, I can recommend this book as well. My psychologist and I read it, and it helped me realize why my parents don't feel like parents, but more like brother/sister. I remember your original post, and it was so sad and broke my heart. It was also so mind-blowing. I don't know if it worked out entirely, but it's great to hear an update. A second one would be great too. I think it's good you're getting therapy personally just for your peace of mind. That's the most important. I do hope you can develop some sort of relationship beyond working with your parents. But the past does bear weight in the present and future, and it's unrealistic to just forget. Your feelings are valid, and it's good you're working through it for yourself. Hopefully, everything works out and they don't endanger any more of your emotional stability. The fact you're trying says a lot of good about you, and your parents' response says a lot less to me. In my opinion, parents who really care and probably aren't are/raised by narcissists wouldn't have this reaction and would do everything to make amends for their mishandling of the past. While I understand they were in a bind, they still handled their situation wrong and poorly in my opinion. Good luck, stay safe. Hope college/university works out well for you. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for liking my stepdad but not my stepmom? I'll probably sound like a witch, but that's life. My 16 female parents, 36 female and 40 male, divorced when I was 12. In all honesty, their marriage was so sucky that it took me 6 months and my mother having to explain it twice for me to realize they were separating. And even then, I didn't particularly care. Important information: both my parents cheated and got together with their affair partners. Dad cheated during their entire marriage with different women, but my mom cheated with my current stepdad for a year before they divorced. This situation by itself sucks, but there's no use finding someone to blame when the fault lays on both of them, so I'll just present the issue. I absolutely hate my stepmom, 37 female. She's unpleasant to me whenever I'm around. Bossy, always trying to goad me into arguments so that when I lose my temper, she can go and cry to my dad that I'm being mean to her. If I didn't know that woman absolutely hates children, I wouldn't be surprised if she tried to get my dad have a do-over baby. As if that would work. Dad got a vasectomy after I was born. However, I really like my stepdad, 34 male. He's genuinely nice to me, balances that careful balance between not really trying to parent me, but still being a reasonable authority figure, think like an uncle, and listens to me ramble about my hobbies without being judgmental. I also feel like the way they treat my parents actually matters in my perception of them. Stepmom treats dad like an ATM machine, but gets upset whenever he spends money on anything else. And stepdad treats my mom like she's the love of his life. And I don't know, I like seeing my mom so happy. My problem started on Father's Day. I made 2 posts on my Instagram where I honored both my dad and stepdad. Each of them had their own posts with different wordings to explain our relationships. Sometime later, I got a call from my dad making an issue out of it. Not because I made my stepdad a post, but because when it was Mother's Day, I only posted my mother and not stepmom, and she felt excluded and unloved. I explained my reasoning, but I'm still getting crap over it to this day. And both my dad and stepmom are low-key pressuring me to make a post about her this year. I'm sick and tired of this, y'all. And I just want to know if I'm the a-hole here because I'm starting to wonder if I'm in the wrong. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You were allowed your feelings. You wanted to say something nice about your stepdad. You don't have anything nice to say about your stepmom. So you didn't say anything at all. You can probably change the custody agreement if there is one, because at your age, what you say should work out. They really can't stop you. Not the a-hole. Stand your ground. Write a letter with numbered points as to the crap your stepmom has been doing to you when you are around. Then remind your dad that you are the child and she is an adult. And if she is upset that she didn't get a shout out on Mother's Day, then she needs to read your points for the explanation. Do not give in, because she'll continue crying to her dad whenever you post or do something for someone else because you didn't do anything for her. Here is your mantra. No one is entitled to receive anything from you, whether it's a gift or a shout out on social media. Nah, forget the letter. Put the crap she does in the Mother's Day post she's so desperate for. The picture should be a nice wilted bunch of yellow roses, yellow for friendship, because she's thoroughly killed any desire hope you might have to be her friend. She should finish with, if you want me to care for you like I do my stepfather and make public posts about how great you are, you need to try being a decent human being to me. Maybe even try being nice to me on occasion. So, happy Mother's Day. I hope you like your post. Not day haul. You should record her secretly being mean to you and then post that on Mother's Day. Then anytime afterward, if you ever have to deal with her and she starts acting up, just say, sweet, more material for my next Mother's Day post. Or just generally malicious compliance of, my stepmother told me I needed to post about her this year for Mother's Day. She said, add whatever mean things she's most recently said, if I didn't part anything. And then write a really amazing one about your mom. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for blowing up at my husband for how he reacted to the news of my brother's death? My brother passed away 2 weeks ago. He was in the hospital for weeks. He was very sick. During that time, I was very stressed out and worried a lot. I was busy with work, the house, my son, and my brother. My husband works from home and I work long hours. When I got home from the hospital, I argued with my husband about an issue. Instead of talking to me like an adult, he suddenly stopped talking to me and started texting me saying, that way we can have a civil talk. He'd do it all day knowing I'm stressed out and don't have time for this. Whenever I ask him to do something or ask him about our son, he'd stay silent and type his response in text then send it to me. He only talks to our son and has taken over house chores, but he doesn't talk to me directly. I'm not gonna lie, it made me feel awful because at the time I really needed to talk to somebody and he was being unreasonable. I ignored him, thinking he'll quit doing it soon. 2 weeks ago, at 7 in the morning, I received a call from my mother telling me that my brother just passed away. It was an awful, devastating moment for me. I was in shock, but calm enough to give my husband the news. I told him my brother just passed away. He was still in bed at the time but was on his phone. His reaction was that he looked at me for a few seconds, then started typing on his phone. My phone was still in my hand when I received a text from him saying, I'm sorry, and that's it. Didn't speak to me even after hearing the news. I didn't expect to do that. I lost it. I blew up at him and I started crying. I called his behavior unreasonable, and his reaction to this devastating news was awful. I was hurt, and he finally spoke up and said that he's the one who's hurt, and that I shouldn't have blown up at him because it wasn't his fault my brother died. He then left the room. A few minutes later, he started knocking on the door, apologizing and trying to say he didn't mean to make me feel bad. I got ready and I went to my mom's house. He called and texted, but I didn't respond. My mom asked about him and told me I shouldn't lash out at him because that will never solve the issue. After I told her. Not the hole. At a moment to prove that he was your partner, there to support you in one of the worst moments of your life, he chose his wants and how he felt. Text him your divorce lawyer's number. This is horrifying. I lost a sister a few years ago. I was in shock for an hour or so after. Somehow, it wasn't until I called my boss to tell him I would be out of work for a while that it slammed down on me. I was in a gas station parking lot, on my way to my mom's. A woman pumping gas came over to me, asked if I needed help, and when I said my sister was dead, she embraced me and cried with me for several minutes. A complete stranger in a dark parking lot offered me more love and support than Nobi's husband. The man is a complete monster. I'm genuinely horrified at how he treats you. Your brother died, and instead of hugging you and giving you comfort of any kind, he freaking texted you right in front of your face? This would end my marriage. To be this petty after hearing about my brother's death is just cruel. I'm so sorry for your loss, and for the fact your husband is more interested in winning an argument with you than consoling you. Not at a-hole. Stonewalling is one of the greatest predictors of divorce. 1. Criticism. 2. Contempt. 3. Defensiveness. 4. Stonewalling. Yeah, I'd say Opie's husband is ticking each of the 4 horsemen of divorce pretty neatly. Not at a-hole. You dealt with his bizarre, thoroughly immature behavior for 2 weeks, and when he carried on with it at one of your most vulnerable moments, you couldn't hold back. I get it. I get it all day. I'm really sorry for your loss. I hope things at home get better soon. You can't be dealing with all that nonsense at the moment. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.